I'm Lisa Doyle with J. Rockcliffe Realtors, and today, welcome to our How's the Market segment. And I have a special friend and guest today, my favorite mortgage broker. This is Michael Evans.
Hi there.
With Prospect Mortgage. We've talked with Michael in the past many times, but I wanted to bring Michael in to just share some information about what's going on with loans.
Sure.
I think I've had a million questions about loans these days. But today is, of course, we're just past the middle of the month, January 2012, new year, and it's Friday, the 20th of January. So one thing that I wanted to share quickly about the How's the Market is just a little bit about the data on what's going on with the East Bay right now. We're probably at a 6-month low, maybe even more than that, of inventory, which is really an advantage to the people who want to sell. So I wanted to share that. Normally, the first part of January, our inventory spikes significantly, sometimes 30 or 40% higher, and we've not seen that yet. Just this week, there's been new active listings that have hit the market, about 600 more, but we've had more than that go pending. So we still, right now, we only have 1,151 active homes in the East Bay, and 1,600 are currently pending, which if you remember, just like 4 months ago, we were like 2,400 active.
Sure.
And 1,600 pending. So it's a good time to be on the market where you don't have as much competition. So something to think about. And then what Michael's going to share is what's going on with interest rates, mortgage changes, questions that we get a lot. So just jump right in, Michael, and why don't you share a little bit about rates?
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe knowledge is power, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. So that's why it's good that we do these.
Yeah.
As far as interest rates, we are just at historical lows. We are in the 4s and even in the 3s. So we're talking about conventional loans, we're talking about FHA loans, VA loans.
And you're talking about 30-year fixed loans, not just, people think that you can't get a 3.9 or a 4.0 unless you are going with an ARM, that you're talking about 30-year fixed.
Yeah, and of course there's ARMs available. Always love giving somebody a 30-year fixed or a 15-year fixed, but yeah, what I'm discussing right now is 30-year fixes.
Yeah.
So we're in the 4s and can even be in the 3s on any given day. Of course they adjust daily. Technology tells us really when to lock and when not to lock, so it's beautiful. I don't have to sit behind the computer the whole day and monitor that.
Try to decide.
Yeah.
So now, one question I had for you real quick, Michael, before you share. One question that I get a lot is, how much does my good credit lower my interest rate? Like if a person has really, really clean credit and they're an average, buying an average priced home, how much will that affect their interest rate?
Well, if we're dealing with a conventional loan, I mean, it is based on FICO score. But basically, if you have more than a 620 FICO score, you're probably going to be doing great. Same with FHA. They're again in the 6s, 620 FICO score, 640 FICO score, even as low as a 580 FICO score. And the FHA doesn't really judge you on your FICO score. So we're still in the 3s and 4s with somebody who might have not as perfect credit.
Okay.
And perfect credit would be somebody who has 740, 760, but you don't need a 740 and 760 to have a 4% interest rate.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Amazing. I remember I started in the business 25 years ago, and our interest rates were 16%. And then we were, they've slowly, of course, averaged right around the 8. So 4% is amazing.
Yeah, I refinanced at 11, and I thought I was lucky.
Oh yeah, exactly. Okay, so what else is going on as far as one of the questions we get a lot is if a person has a bankruptcy or a short sale or something like that, has had some issues, which a lot of families are right now. What's the timeline before they can recover?
Absolutely.
How long? Yeah.
Now, with all the recent past, we've had to make sure that we've got these guidelines set out here. And it is a variable thing. So on a foreclosure, which would also be looked at as a short sale, it's generally a 3-year waiting period, but it can actually be less than that, depending on your circumstances. And on short sales, if somebody sells a short sale and doesn't have a deficiency balance, and they've been timely with their payments, then they can buy a house the next day after the short sale. So that's not a problem. With bankruptcies, it's 2 years. For FHA, 4 years from Fannie Mae. There again, that timeline can be less, depending on your situation. It can be an isolated incident and something that you can explain, and the underwriter is going to look at that. So it's not set in stone. And then you have Chapter 13, which is 1 year. So we're talking about a 3-year period mostly on foreclosures or less. And if, like I said, if they're timely on their payments on a short sale and have no balance left over, they can get it the next day.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of people that have had problems that are, have had some distress and some issues in family circumstances have been so, believing that it could take forever. It could take 10 years to recover. And really, it's a pretty, you move it on pretty quick and.
Well, and keeping an established credit is great. So, even after you've had this unfortunate incident, keeping your timely payments is going to help boost your FICO score. Just on-time monthly payments to your credit cards and auto loans and everything else is just really will boost your score.
Helps you recover. One of the questions that I get from a lot of our clients is the media would have them believe that getting a loan is almost impossible. They think, oh my gosh, I have to ask for a 90-day escrow because I won't get my loan. And that's, the media hasn't told the truth completely about that. Tell them how long it would normally take to get a loan for the average buyer.
And I have to go right back to saying knowledge is power.
Right.
Because the media sometimes is not saying things that's true, or they're trying to scare. I don't know what the deal is. But I do loans every day. And we close loans in 30 days. Even very hard loans that might have additional requirements on it are closing in 30 days. The average consumer, a renter, prior homeowner, or a person that lives with their family can still get a home. There is no hardship right now for getting a loan. The requirements are less, so it's less stringent actually. So there is monitoring to make sure that you're going to keep the timely payments. The lender doesn't want the house back.
Right.
So other than that, the guidelines are right now less stringent than I believe they've been in the past. So things are not as hard. Yeah,
it's not as hard as people believe. I think the one thing that's different is you do have to be able to verify your income, and you do have to be able to verify stability as far as length of time in their employment. Right?
Sure.
I mean, that's obviously that's important. So.
But somebody could be a student and now have a job, and they'll still get a home. A person could have a gap in their employment, and they have a job now, they still can get a home. If a renter never had paid rent to mom and dad, they can still get a home. So
okay, good deal. Yeah. Now tell us about anything changes that you see coming as far as mortgage changes.
The government just passed where they're going to change the cost to all lenders of what it takes to deliver a loan to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. And we've implemented to where we're not going to raise that cost like most other lenders are doing. They're just adding an additional cost right now to cover that cost to guarantee that loan. And we've decided to slowly do that over time. And if we have to help with that enhancement through myself with a concession, we're able to do that. So really, in reality, we're trying to make it to where the consumer's not going to feel that, to where the lender is going to actually pick up that cost. So slowly putting that over time will just not make it to where it hits hard on the consumer.
Okay. Yeah. How much extra cost are we talking as far as like a monthly?
It would probably be a difference of $22 or something like that.
Okay, so enough to make it, that's a very generous, Prospect Mortgage is being very generous to help the consumers through that, so thank you.
Yeah, and that's something that, as soon as we heard about it, we implemented it to where it's going to be a low cost, not a high cost.
Right, okay, good. Yeah, well, thank you so much. I mean, I know I just have to tell you that Michael's, like I said, one of our favorite mortgage brokers that we get to work with, very knowledgeable, and you always do a great job with details and efficiency, and he's very knowledgeable, so.
I appreciate you having me here.
We appreciate your help. Yeah, definitely give us a call if you have any questions. Tell them how they can reach you, Michael.
Oh, you can call me directly at 925-497-2501, or you can go to my website at www.internetapproval.com.
And my name, of course, is Lisa Doyle. You can call me direct on my cell, 925-890-7443. I look forward to seeing you soon.